All right. Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be exploring some fascinating ideas for living a good life
Okay.
from, well, it's a Thai source. It's called Pranikan,
Just
which translates to place text.
okay.
And like we always say, we love to find these kind of hidden gems of
Yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah.
And this one, it kind of blends Eastern philosophy with
Oh, yeah.
like practical everyday advice for living a good life.
Cool.
So I'm really excited
Yeah, me too.
to dive into this. So, like, the very first principle that really stood out to me
Okay.
is this idea that a good life
Mm-hmm.
isn't always smooth sailing.
Great.
You know,
No.
it's about constantly making adjustments
Oh, I like that.
along the way. I think we all know somebody, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who just gets like really rattled by
Oh,
change
totally.
and expects things to always go perfectly,
Uh-huh.
and they always end up disappointed.
Absolutely. This principle really reminds us that expecting life to always be smooth sailing, well, can set us up for disappointment.
Yeah.
And, it kind of reminds me of the Buddhist concept of impermanence.
Yeah.
You know how everything's in this constant state of change,
Right.
and it's more about accepting that rather than resisting it
Cool.
if we want to find some contentment.
Right. And being okay with the fact that things
Yeah.
are going to get messy sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so principle number 2 is all about learning from your mistakes.
Okay.
And it uses this analogy of a black box,
Okay.
where you input your experiences into this black box, and then you get certain outputs or results,
Right.
and you're not happy with those outputs.
Yeah.
Then you have to look back and say, okay, what did I input
Right.
that caused those outputs?
Yeah.
And how can I change those inputs to get a better result?
I love that. I actually use a similar approach after I completely bombed a presentation a while back. Yeah, it was rough. I hadn't prepared enough. I was trying to cram way too much information in,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't connecting with the audience at all.
Yeah.
So I used that experience as feedback, and I changed my approach for the next time.
And, it's like that saying, every master was once a disaster.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about having a growth mindset, right?
Yes.
Believing that our abilities can be developed
Yes.
through effort and learning from those mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting. This is also a key principle in machine learning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where algorithms get better over time by processing data
Oh, wow.
and adjusting their responses based on the feedback they receive.
It's like this ancient wisdom really has these modern day applications.
It totally does.
That's so cool. Okay, so principle number 3
All right.
is, well, it's short and sweet.
Okay.
It's the 5-second rule for saying no.
Yeah, I like this.
So if somebody asks you something and you can't say yes within 5 seconds,
Okay.
especially if it feels like a selfish request,
Yeah.
say no.
That's a good one. I remember a time when I was constantly overcommitting myself, just saying yes to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Even things that totally drained my energy or didn't align with my priorities at all.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started setting boundaries and being more mindful of my time that I felt like I regained control of my schedule.
Right.
And my life, really.
Your time is so valuable.
Exactly. And this principle really emphasizes that. Valuing our time and energy,
Yeah.
setting healthy boundaries, and politely declining requests
Yeah.
that don't serve us.
Yeah, it's a hard skill,
It is.
but I think so important.
It is.
Okay, let's talk about money.
Okay.
Does money buy happiness?
That's the big question.
Right. Principle number 4 says that suffering doesn't necessarily stem from a lack of money,
Oh, interesting.
but from never-ending greed
Okay.
and constantly comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I think we've all, scrolled through social media
Yeah.
and felt that pang of envy. When you see somebody, like, on a yacht in the Mediterranean.
Exactly. And this principle really gets into the psychology of desire. There's
Right.
always going to be someone with more, someone who seems to have it all.
Right.
And true contentment often comes from finding that inner peace
Yeah.
and appreciating what we have rather than constantly chasing after more.
Gratitude is so important.
It is.
Okay, principles 5 and 6 kind of go together.
All right.
And they talk about finding love and joy in what you do
Oh, I like that.
and focusing on your strengths
Yeah.
rather than your weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to beat ourselves up
Oh, yeah.
about the things that we're not good at,
Totally.
but we should be focusing on the
Yeah.
things we are good at.
Absolutely. It reminds us that everyone has their own unique talents and abilities.
Yeah.
It's about playing to our strengths and finding ways to use them to contribute to the world.
Yeah. And, not everybody is lucky enough to find their dream job
Right.
right out of the gate. But like this principle suggests that passion can actually develop over time
Uh-huh.
through dedication and effort.
Yeah, you might be surprised to find yourself loving something you never thought you would.
Yeah, I think it's like sometimes you don't find
Right.
your passion finds you.
Totally.
Okay, principle number 7 hits hard.
Right.
You can change yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't change other people.
Whoa, that's a good one.
So let go of that expectation.
It's so true. It's about recognizing that everyone is on their own journey and trying to force them to fit into our mold.
Right.
Well, it can lead to a lot of frustration and resentment.
Yeah.
It's much more productive to focus on our own personal growth
Yeah.
and accepting others as they are.
You can lead a horse to water,
Yeah,
but you can't make it drink.
exactly.
Okay, principle number 8 is about goal setting.
Okay.
And it encourages us to set like realistic and achievable goals
Mm-hmm.
to kind of fuel our lives with energy,
Yeah.
but also to remember to savor the journey
Right?
and be open to our goals
Yes.
evolving over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like having a roadmap, but being willing to take detours along the way.
I love that.
You know, it's like
Right.
thinking about goal-setting frameworks like SMART goals,
Right.
which emphasize setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals.
Yeah.
But even within that framework, there's room for flexibility and adaptation.
Yeah.
Life is unpredictable, and being able to adjust our goals as needed is crucial for our well-being.
Totally. So it's like having a plan,
Yeah.
but being willing to deviate from that plan
Exactly.
when necessary.
When necessary.
Okay, principle number 9 gets a little philosophical.
Okay.
It reminds us that most things in life are fleeting,
Mm-hmm.
but our experiences and the pursuit of our true desires
Right.
leave a lasting impact.
It really makes you think about what you want to leave behind, you know?
Your legacy.
Your legacy, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, principle number 10 is a powerful reminder that we are not defined by our past.
That's a good one.
No matter how difficult it may have been,
Yeah.
letting go of past hurts is so essential.
Absolutely. This is where the power of forgiveness comes in.
Yeah.
Forgiving ourselves and forgiving others.
Yeah.
Holding on to that anger and resentment, it can really weigh us down and prevent us from embracing the present.
It's like they say, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Exactly.
Okay, principles 11 and 13 kind of go together.
Right.
And they emphasize cultivating humility
Mm-hmm.
and avoiding the comparison trap.
Oh, the comparison trap. Yeah.
I think it's so easy to get caught up.
Oh, especially in the age of social media.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it's so easy to compare ourselves to others and feel inadequate
Constantly.
constantly.
So humility is about like having a realistic view of ourselves.
Yeah, recognizing our strengths and weaknesses without like inflating or diminishing them.
Right.
And then, you know, on the other hand, you have jealousy and envy,
Yeah.
which often stem from this scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
Like this belief that there isn't enough success or happiness to go around.
Right.
But when we cultivate a more abundant mindset, we can celebrate other people's successes
Right.
without feeling threatened.
Because their success doesn't diminish our own.
Exactly.
Okay. And finally, principle number 12 is about karma.
Okay.
This
Yes.
idea that what goes around comes around.
Right. It's not about some cosmic scorecard or anything.
Right.
But it's about understanding that our actions have consequences.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
when we make ethical choices, even when nobody's watching,
Right.
we contribute to creating a more positive and harmonious world.
It's like those ripple effects that, we
Yeah.
might not even see.
Totally.
Okay. And lastly, principle number 14 unpacks the idea of self-love,
Okay.
which is not about being selfish,
Right.
but about setting boundaries
Yeah.
and taking care of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
so that we can show up for others.
It's about recognizing our own worth and needs
Yeah.
and setting limits to protect our well-being, but also being considerate and empathetic towards others.
Finding that balance.
Exactly. Finding that balance between self-care and compassion.
I love that. Wow, these 14 principles from Place Text. They're so simple,
Yeah.
but so profound.
They really are.
Like, it's given me a lot to think about.
Me too.
So, listener, I'm curious, which principle resonates most with you?
Yeah. Which one are you going to try to apply in your own life?
If you're as intrigued as we are by these principles,
Yeah.
we definitely encourage you to seek out the full text.
I can't
and-
remember.
Look, Yeah, it's full of these amazing nuggets of wisdom.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep learning.
and keep diving deep.
See you next time.